Greetings, listener. Please enjoy the unintelligible ramblings of your favorite dynamic trio, Arva, Farah, and Westy. As they wish with all their might these series of games and shows won't end. Welcome to The Unintelligibles.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Unintelligibles. I'm Westy. I'm your host today. And you'll notice Arva might be in a can over there. AFK might have stuck him in something else.
You introduced the one who's not here before you introduced the one who's here.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
I let you introduce yourself. And as you can all hear, Farah's still with me today.
I showed up today.
You did show up. I got distracted by looking over and seeing "Let's kill Westy" in our group chat. Like, what the fuck, Farah?
Well,
That's still up.
I like to stir the pot a little bit.
What the fuck? No, not the last episode. Final you can't see a chat. Anyway, they're talking about getting rid of me.
AFK's going on strike because she hasn't gotten paid.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm poor and have medical bills.
Well, it sounds like a load of excuses if you ask me.
Why don't you
none of this
her?
would happen. That's not my podcast.
What the fuck? Great. So
you should be paying me. I didn't organize this.
Yeah, you just show up.
I just show up.
You know, at least it's fun.
This would never have been an issue if we got a fucking sponsorship. Cough, cough, MeUndies, cough, cough, any company ever.
I really tried the MeUndies route, and the second I started submitting all our info, they swapped it over to how you do it, and I'm just like, you motherfuckers, you made me do, like, all this, and you changed it the next day I hit submit? What the fuck?
I deleted my Instagram account that I made just for them.
Like, I know, I made the Instagram, and then once you guys made yours, I, like, got the links, and I submitted them, submitted all the info, and I checked the next day, and it's just like, we're changing how we do this. And I'm like...
What about, like, gamer subs would be an easy one, I think.
You know what? We need to start looking at sponsors.
Well, hey, guys, did you know that you can get 1 month free delivery of HelloFresh?
Oh god, not the HelloFresh. You know what? I like free food. HelloFresh, send me free food and I will talk about.
I can't get HelloFresh where I am. It's just not even worth it for me.
Anyway, how you doing this week, Fair?
I'm pretty good. It was a short work week, but a long work week at the same time. Monday was a holiday for Canadians. But I'm like not working in my normal position right now for the last week and this week coming up. I'm covering a different position that basically gets paid the same wage but has way more work. So I was drowning a little bit, but I think I'm swimming now. I think I'm okay.
Good.
But yeah, I'm kind of doing 2 jobs at work right now, and then not next week, but the week after, I go for training again. For the 4th time this year.
Damn. Wow, that sounds a little miserable.
I don't mind it.
I don't like training.
It's not super far away like the last couple ones have been. It's actually in my like a prime spot because 2 of the trainings have been really far away, like out of province, and that's a pain in the ass to drive to and then drive back from. And I don't get to see my dogs at all. And they were for 2 weeks and 3 weeks. This one's only 1 week, and it's closer, but it's not so close that I don't get paid for travel. Because I had one training that was a week, but it was too close, so I had to just drive. But this one is far enough away where it's still pretty nearby, because it has to be at least an hour away from where I work, and it's an hour and a half. But it's actually closer to where I live than it is to my job. So it's not super far, and it's only a week. So I'm not mad about it. Everything's paid for, like I get my meals paid for, my hotel paid for, so I don't mind it.
Okay, I guess everything's paid for. That's not bad. Wow. My week has been pretty boring. Like, really trying to think. I don't think anything's happened that's been super exciting. Like, I went to the chiropractor and then I went to work. I did go get some tacos yesterday.
Ooh, what kind? White people tacos?
No, authentic tacos. Like, like the little, I actually don't know the name of it, the store with the restaurant in it, and like the dude behind the counter just chops up your meat right there, and
Oh yeah.
you go sit next to the freezer section. They were
There's
so good.
there's a little Salvadorian cafe in the city next to me that has the best tacos I've ever had in my whole life. And last weekend on Saturday, I went to the farmers market in the city with a friend. And we parted ways, and it was lunchtime, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in the city. I'm gonna go get tacos. And I went, and it said they had opened an hour ago, and I went, and they were closed. And I sat there for like half an hour to see if they were gonna open, and I watched multiple people come up to the door, jiggle it because it was locked, and then leave. And I was like, this is the worst day. I think I think I ended up just getting fries, but at somewhere else, it was not the same. It's not what I wanted.
Yeah, it's always disappointing we have to settle. But yeah, we got some pretty good tacos yesterday. It's kind of funny whenever I explain kind of why we always get tacos around this time. Because my birthday is tomorrow. Adrian's dad's birthday is tomorrow. Her grandpa's birthday is tomorrow. We all three of us share the exact same birthday, and then you cut to her.
My birthday is tomorrow.
No, you can't have that. You
It's
go to
not.
Adrian's birthday, it's in October. It's October 20th. My mother's birthday is October 20th.
Oh my gosh.
It's one of those like kind of going down opposite lines. We all share the same birthday on both sides of the family.
Well, happy like early 50th birthday.
Oh, thank you. Is that how old you estimate me to be?
I mean, for how long I've known you, you give off mid-40s energy for sure.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. God, I'm old.
It's funny because in my family, like, it's like me, my parents, and then my two brothers, we have birthdays in September, October, November, December for all four of them, and then I'm in May. So I'm the odd one out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're the only ones who do that. Everyone else in the family's like June, and then way in December, and then back in January. So it's just like the 1, 2, 3, 4, like the 5 or 6 of us who all have the same birthday as like the other one, and we're just like, oop.
That's fun. You get to have like a joint birthday party.
Well, my tradition was always I just take off of work and I more or less just kind of nap that day. I sleep in and then I get some like junk food and then I more or less just do nothing. It's kind of like a do nothing day for me.
That's a good way to celebrate.
The way that they celebrate is whoever's birthday it is picks a restaurant and then we all just go there.
That's what we do. That's what we've been doing since I was like a toddler. It's always birthday person picks a restaurant, or if we don't want to do a restaurant, pick the meal, and then my mom will make it. I personally always go restaurant, but my eldest brother doesn't really like to go to restaurants, so he'll usually pick like barbecue or something. But yeah, that's always the rule. Birthday person picks a restaurant, and then we all go there.
Yeah, growing up, we never did that. It was always just like your birthday was the day everyone left you alone. Like you weren't asked to do dishes, you weren't asked to vacuum, you weren't asked to clean. Basically, you just kind of got to do nothing that day. That was always our tradition. Otherwise, every day would be like you have to clean something.
I have lived by the philosophy that I will never work on my birthday. I'll always take that day off, and I continue to stand by that.
Yeah. Yeah, because when I put the request in for work, there's other people there who were like, "Oh, you're not gonna come in on your birthday? We could like do a little food." I was like, "No, I never work on my birthday. Like if I
Yeah.
come in, it's just to eat whatever food you bring, and I'm leaving immediately."
Yeah, I'll come in just for like lunch and then leave.
Because the people at work, there's like certain people there who are kind of like, I call them the pillars of like everyone's morale, because they organize the food days, they like get everything together, they bring things in, they kind of get things sorted. They don't like one of my absolute favorite coworkers. She's this, I don't know how old she is, 55 plus year old woman working 2 jobs, and she doesn't do this job very well. Like the average number of just work you're supposed to do a night, say, is like 200 documents. She'll get like 20 done a night. But she can't really see that well. But my God, she will sit there and organize a food day, bring in like home cooked hamburgers, barbecue, fries, fucking chicken wings, get
That's
everything
nice.
sorted, get everything up there. She'll get like people to serve it so no one's touching the food with their bare hands. So you basically just walk up with your plate and they scoop it on there. Great woman. She'll also, if you're there, one time, it was like years ago, like I told this story. There was like a food day happening, and she walked over to Adrian's like, "Hey, you go get yourself a plate." And Adrian's like, "Oh, I didn't really know her, and I just don't really want to go get." She like slapped her in the back of the head, like, "Get your ass up and go get some food, god damn it!" And she's like, "God damn!" Like if you say you're not, she's the grandma type. She's very much the you go get your ass some food, but she's also stern because when good old Paul tries to cut the line, she's like, "No, you fucking don't. Now you got to go last," and he'll start crying about it. She's like, "I don't give a shit. Go sit your ass down and wait." And he'll sit there and whine and cry. She's like, "That's too bad I can't fucking hear you, isn't it?" Love her, greatest coworker. But
I love that energy.
yeah, but it was like her birthday a couple days ago. It's also funny because she was born in a time, her birth certificate says some things that I cannot repeat here based on her race. But it also says 2 different birthdays on it, each a day apart. And she's like, "Fuck it, I'll just
What?
celebrate both." It was during a time when people of color's birth certificates and documents weren't taken as seriously. So they didn't really put an effort into it. They just kind of wrote it down, what they thought. There wasn't computers back then.
Right.
Yeah, but she's great. She does like this thing at the end of almost every month. Like if there's enough birthdays in a month, she'll just have like one big collective food day for everyone's birthdays. And if it's your birthday, you go first in that month. So
That's what we did. Something similar at work. Well, I was leaving for my 3 weeks of training. This was last month or the month before. I can't remember. And three people had a birthday, and it was end of June. 3 people had a birthday in June, and I had a birthday at the end of May, and another person had a birthday at the end of May. So I made gluten-free, lactose-free Oreo cheesecake and brought it to work, and we all just shared it.
that sounds like a sad
Which-
cheesecake. No gluten, no lactose. I'm
Well-
lactose intolerant, but man,
Lactose, I didn't even try to make it lactose-free, but like lactose-free stuff, I don't know how it is in America, but it's really easy to get here. Like the cream cheese I bought is a really popular brand of cream cheese, and it's just lactose-free. It just happens to also be lactose-free. I didn't intentionally buy lactose-free. I just realized after, and I went, "Oh, that's kind of is helpful because the person who's gluten sensitive is also lactose sensitive." So I was like, "Well, it works out." And then Oreos don't have any lactose in them
yeah,
at all.
Oreos
and
are very carefully made.
I did have to buy gluten-free Oreos because they do have gluten in them, and oh my god, they were fucking expensive.
Yeah, I bet.
I used less Oreos than the recipe called for because I was like, I ain't buying 2 packs of this.
That's fair. Yeah, lactose free in America, it's in its own totally separate section. Like the containers for actual milk are so different than like lactose-free milk, oat milk, almond milk. Like that's a totally different section with totally different containers in every store you go to.
That's interesting. There's like there are some brands that are like their big thing is lactose free, and so they will be by like the oat milk and stuff, but I can't remember what there's two like big brands of in Canada. Hold on.
Gotta Google.
I gotta Google it.
Intense Googling.
It's not Dairyland Canada. It's something else. It's Lactalis Canada. Lactalis Canada. So, and then was this the one that's lactose free? Yeah, okay, so Lactalis is the lactose free line of milk, yogurt, cheese. And when you go to the store, it's like Dairyland and Lactalis are like the two big brands. And they don't really like it says lactose free on the side, but it's not like you know how you would expect it to be where it's like in big letters on it because it's like marketed specifically towards people who are lactose intolerant. This one is just like it is lactose free, but it's sold with the regular milk because lactose isn't that good for you anyways, so they just don't put like they take the lactose out of their dairy products. It's supposed to be healthier for you. But it costs the same as Dairyland, which is not lactose free, and they're right next to each other. They're stored in the same fridge.
Interesting.
And same with the like the cream cheese. It's all like the lactose free and the lactose ones are just all mixed together.
Yeah, not quite the same here. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna speak everywhere in America, but where I've lived and where I live now, they're in like different sections. And the bottles contain because we get oat milk now because honestly, we kind of like the taste of oat milk better than regular milk, but it's always a totally different container. It's like there's
oat milk is for sure like because I don't. What's your big brand? Silk.
Silk is one of them.
Yeah, Silk is our big brand.
Oh shit!
Which got recalled recently because of what was it, salmonella or E. coli or something?
Hang on. Because there's Silk, we don't usually get Silk. We get Oatly is one. Planet Oak is another one we'll get, but usually it's either Oatly or the Chobani oat milk.
There's like Silk is the most popular one here, and then I've seen Earth's Own is like a fancy.
I've seen that
one that's more expensive, and I'm like, why would I pay for that? I don't drink oat milk or anything, but Frisia does, and she usually gets just Silk. I think she actually gets. It is oat milk, yeah. It's or is it nut? It might be one of the nuts. I don't know. I just remember she gets unsweetened because she was very particular about it.
Yeah, we get the unsweetened too. You could really fuck it up if you pour sweet oat milk into a bowl of cereal. Gets a little too sweet.
I've tried it, but I think I'm just used to the taste of regular milk, and I actually like the taste of milk. Like I don't drink milk, but if you offered me a glass of milk, I would drink it because I do think it tastes good. We always have had skim milk in my house because my mom is just like slightly allergic, and so she likes to make like paralyzers on the weekends or White Russians, and so we always have skim milk. But I actually prefer the taste of like 2%.
Yeah, that's fair. Well,
I get skim milk in if I get like a tea latte or anything, because it's just better for you to have less fat in your milk.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with today's topic.
No, this has absolutely nothing to do with today's topic. This was a tangent. Anyway, today was actually a first for our podcast, I think, because I let you guys know what the topic was beforehand, like right after the last episode. I can't remember
Yeah.
if we've done that before. I don't think we have.
I don't think we have. I think it was raised at one point when I did the good things that have happened to you episode. That was one where we agreed at the end that it would have been better if we knew in advance because it can be hard to think
Yeah, we
of
talked about it.
things. Yeah, so we talked about it, but we haven't actually done it yet. And I want you to know that you gave us a full week, and I made the list about half an hour before the episode started.
Yeah, so you can't. No one can blame me for this. I let them know literally after the last episode. I sent a message that way it wouldn't be forgotten. Like, oh, I just said that at the end. I made sure it was in writing with like actual instructions to be like, hey, it can be this or this. So today's topic is things that we wish never ended or don't want to end.
It was actually 4 hours before today's episode. I just went and looked, so good job, me.
Woo. So, I didn't even limit it to like stuff that had ended. It's like stuff that's still ongoing, but like you don't want to end. Anything that could be like a video game series or a TV show, a movie series, books, things like that. And I figured, hey, you know what? Last time I was like, what are some things that you wish needed to end? Like games that have been going on for too fucking long. Looking at EA Sports. Anyway, take a little sip here. I asked for 6 because we kind of tend to go through these a little quick, which I'm glad we had that real long just segue into nothing at the start because that'll really buffer this episode a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tend to go through these really quick because I don't know if there's a lot you can say about something you don't want to end other than just like I like it. So I figured 6 would be a pretty good one. Now, I'll get us started here. If Arva has his list, AFK, if Arva has his list, he can still submit it kind of at the end if he wants. If he either wants to just give it to you in writing or if he wants to record it. And then we can just stuff that in here. But
he has 1 minute to say every single thing on his list and why.
God damn. So, my number 6 is it's actually going to be a book series, but very specifically the Audible series, because it is the most unhinged, hilarious thing I have ever heard in my life. It is truly amazing. It's called Dungeon Crawler Carl. And
I have to look it up.
It is the most insane, unhinged bullshit that has made me like almost crack up at work. You get shit like the whole series is basically Earth is harvested by aliens, but because of like the big syndicate they're part of has to give people a chance to like win the planet back, they have to go through like this contest. And it's more or less a game show. It's like a Running Man situation. And the main character is like chased his ex-girlfriend's cat into it, trying to like not die in the freezing Seattle winds. And the cat gains sentience and starts shooting magic missiles out of its eyes. And it is truly glorious because she just constantly is like, yeah, it's like that one guy used to come over when you went to the gym. He's like, what? Yeah, I used to put your socks on his dick and like dance around. It's like, what the fuck?
What?
That was just casually mentioned. It's just like, all right, time to focus. We're not going to talk about it anymore. Like, the whole series is basically the most unhinged bullshit. Like, you have random strippers named Damascus Seal, Anaconda. I think Gluteus Max is in there, who crushes people's head with his butt cheeks. It's the most random bullshit you can think of, times 10. It is truly glorious. It's like if...
Interesting.
It's like if you got a bunch of unhinged VTubers to play a D&D session with the most unhinged characters that you possibly could, and then took away all of the rules of Dungeons and Dragons and just let them do whatever they want. It's truly glorious.
I'm trying to remember. There's this Oh my gosh, wait, I think I might have just found it. That reminded me of a game that I watched Jacksepticeye play forever ago. It's called Paradigm. I don't know if you've ever seen this game, but it's so weird. I think it's point and click, but it's
Oh, that looks weird. All right.
it's like I don't even remember what happens. I watched it so long ago. It's like a Russian developer, and what is this? A surreal adventure game set in the strange and post-apocalyptic Eastern European country of Cruz. What is like? I don't even remember what the story is, but I remember really liking this game.
Yeah, this looks unhinged.
I want to play this game, for sure. I don't remember what happens, so it'd be like a blind playthrough again.
Damn.
But it came out in 2017, and it is. I remember it being so weird.
Yeah. I say it looks weird.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
But that's my number 6. I'm greatly enjoying it. I got to not quite the end of the series because there's more books coming, but it has a very clear end. So I don't know how many more there's gonna be, and I'm kind of sad about that because it's just hilarious all the way through. Like getting hit with a fucking plague where slugs grow out of your body, but they're not regular slugs. They're sluggalos. There's juggalos who wear face paint and listen to Insane Clown Posse and then attack you.
That just sounds like regular, like real life, you know?
Yeah, you know, when the sluggalos come.
Yeah.
Truly, truly fucking unhinged. So, that's my number 6. Farah, what's your number 6?
I had a hard time with the ranking of these. So take my 1 to 6 with a grain of salt. I kind of just slapped it all together, and they're not really in order, just like kind of.
She had a week, don't worry. Slap together though.
Yeah, but I don't know. Some of them I'm like they're on the same level, but I just sort of arbitrarily stuck them together. So, I actually have 2 anime in here, which I don't really watch anime anymore, but I used to a lot. I was a big anime fanatic when I was younger. And there was one anime that I loved called Ouran High School Host Club.
Adrian talks about that all the time, and I've never seen it.
It's so good. It only and it didn't they didn't finish it because one of the things that they do for anime is a lot of the times the anime will just be like a advertisement for the manga and they want you to go read the manga. So they don't actually adapt the entire manga into an anime unless it's crazy popular. And this one is popular. And this is in like the same vein as Fruits Basket, which only just recently got rebooted. So I'm like kind of hoping that maybe they'll reboot this one as well. But I'm pretty sure there's only 1 season, maybe 2. And basically, here, let me go to my anime list. The true definitive. Yeah, it has 26 episodes. So that would either be 1 or 2 seasons. And it's very popular, but they never finished it. Like, it has a whole manga, and the manga is finished, but they never continued the actual anime, and I didn't know that. So when I watched it and I finished the last episode, I was like, okay, end of the season, I'll go watch the next one, and then realized there wasn't one, and I was like devastated.
Yeah, I remember that being a thing when I tried to watch anime. I never really got into it, but every now and then my friends would be like, let's watch this one. It's like, all right, what's next? Like, no, that's the end. Like, was it?
That happens all the time. Because a lot of the times the anime is literally just an advertisement for the manga. Or it's an adaptation of a light novel and they only will get a 2nd season if they do like crazy well.
Yeah, I remember that was always annoying.
But yeah, like I don't really watch anime anymore, but if they rebooted this, I would absolutely watch it. It's like not even like I'm not even a big fan of slice of life anime, but I don't know, something about this one I just really enjoyed. I think it's like it is technically, I think, reverse harem, but the main character is a woman who is mistaken for a guy and then joins the host club and they find out she's a girl. And then she's like, "It's fine, I don't really care." And they were like, "Well, you're really popular, so what if you continue to pretend to be a guy?" And so she just does.
Hmm.
And then they have like this rivalry with all girls school basically, and it's like I don't even know. It's just like
It's just a
it's
fun
not
little
yeah, it's not
watch.
particularly exciting or have like anything crazy going on. It's like no Attack on Titan or anything like that, but I really enjoyed watching it and I would for sure watch another season if it came out.
Okay. Well, and that was one of Adrian's favorites. But that's a good one. I realize I actually don't have to keep track of these because Arva's in a can.
That's true. I think I win by default.
Yep, I think you do.
Unless we do like a coin flip at the end and I pick wrong.
We'll see at the end. So, my number 5. I stand by this one. I had to knock it down a bit because I was like, well, I got to be practical on this one. My number 5 is Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated. I love cartoons. I've always just loved cartoons, and I'm pretty sure I will always love cartoons. I love Scooby Doo. Minus a pup named Scooby Doo, that one's meh. But very specifically, this is the absolute best adaptation of Scooby Doo I've ever seen.
I think a lot of people agree with that too.
It only got 2 seasons, but it also ended by tying into the like OG Scooby Doo Where Are You? And I don't know. It's one of those at first when it's like, oh, 2 seasons, I'm like, well, it says they got to end it the way they wanted to end it, so I'm glad. But after I watched the 2 seasons, I was like, nah, we need more of this. Hold up. What the fuck?
If it's one thing I've learned, a conclusion does not matter. They can just keep making movies. Did you hear that there's a new Toy Story coming out?
Yep.
This is the opposite of what we're talking about. Toy Story 3 was the end. They literally ended it perfectly. The final shot in the movie was the first shot from the first movie, and it was like understanding that their boy had grown up and gone to college, accepting that he had grown away. It's like they didn't need to make any more. It was so perfectly ended, and then they continued to make it. So you know what? It doesn't even matter that they ended it the way that they wanted to. The Last of Us 1 was supposed to be a standalone game, and he ended it the way that he wanted to, but money. And that's all that matters.
Yeah, but Scooby Doo falls into a really weird category where there's actually not really more than 1 or 2 seasons per Scooby Doo, like serialization, and I don't know why. There's just not. It always ends after about 1. If you're lucky, you get 2. But Mystery Incorporated.
If you're really unlucky, you get Velma.
Oh God, we don't talk about that one. But Mystery Incorporated was such a good one because it, like, all the episodes tied together while still kind of being their own thing up until about the end when they were all just doing the main plot resolution. They're all doing their own thing while still kind of having the overarching narrative. Fred was fucking unhinged as shit. Like, what was it? Velma going to the pool. He's just like, oh, good. Your skin's so white and reflective, it's keeping away vampires. Like, goddamn, dude.
I know. They had some of like it felt more like and the new Scooby Doo content I feel like is more child oriented, like the new movie that they made. But I feel like Scooby Doo was more like preteens, teenager originally.
Yeah, and I think they had a good formula. Minus what they did with the Hex Girls, they kind of fucked them up, but anyway. They had a good formula with this one. They had a good narrative. They had a good plot. They had interesting characters. And it was entertaining. It was funny all the way through. And I was legitimately like, I have no idea how this is gonna fucking end anymore. Goddamn. It got really dark, man. They like fucking executed a teenager on her knees with a Nazi robot. Like gunshot to the head. It got dark. And I was just like, oh my god. So, that's my number 5. I had to bump it down just because it's like, I gotta let it go at least. We got what we got on that one. It's never coming back. I want it back. But it technically ties into the OG Scooby-Doo. So if you watch that one and you watch the OG Scooby-Doo, it all makes sense. And I'm like, okay. Fuck you all, but okay. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is one of like my top favorite games that actually got remade, which I was very happy about. It's Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh my god, I love Shadow of the Colossus.
Really amazing game. Games that can tell a good story without speaking a single word are one of my favorite types of video games. That's why Journey is my favorite game of all time. Shadow of the Colossus did get remade in the last few years. I can't remember when, but the remake was really good. And then there was a spiritual successor, which was The Last Guardian, which was like not the same game, but had the same vibes to it.
Technically, Shadow of the Colossus did have a sequel, but it was made first, and then Shadow of the Colossus was the prequel.
What is the one after?
Eco.
Oh, yeah! Okay, yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, because Eco's basically what happens afterwards in Shadow of the Colossus.
I remember reading about that. Okay, it's ICO. I was like,
yeah,
why can't
ICO.
I find it? There we go.
Because that boy is basically reborn from Shadow. He has horns. The girl who's like taking care of you is the same girl from Shadow of the Colossus. And you're in the tower.
Eco is very like, it's weird because it's not, it's like kind of similar, but it's different.
It's the same story with different gameplay. Well, I guess not same story. It's the same characters, but like different story.
It reminds me almost of what's it called? Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons.
Yeah.
Which is another really good game. And I can't remember, is The Last Guardian made by the same company?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
That's a really Last Guardian, honestly.
You didn't like it?
They really bragged about, I forget the creature's name. They really bragged about that AI, but he kept getting stuck when I was trying to play it, and I was like, you motherfucker.
Oh, I don't know anything about the fucking AI, but I think it's a pretty game.
It was a pretty game. It wasn't very fun, though, because the whole creature interactions just wasn't, it didn't feel good to solve the puzzles.
That's fair.
And I think in a puzzle platformer, if your puzzles don't feel good to solve, you fucked up.
I haven't, I think I watched Jacksepticeye play this when it came out, which was in 2016, so that was a long time ago. I have the game, and I do want to play it, and I wonder if it would be a different experience playing it myself.
It would probably be a different experience. Like I said, it's doable, but there's a lot of frustration because it's like, I need to solve this puzzle in order to do that. Look, it has a name. I don't remember its name. The creature needs to be like over on this side. Okay, get over on that side. As he gets stuck on the edge and won't jump, and then turns around and goes back. And you gotta like lure him back over, and then you try and get him to jump, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna jump," and then he turns around and goes back. You gotta lure him back over again. It's like, you big bitch. It gets really fucking annoying. There's always a part in the middle where they try to ramp up the puzzle difficulty because now it's like, now you both have to do it simultaneously, and I don't know, man. That AI is just like, it's trying, but it's trying in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. I would really like I actually have like a game concept that if one day I had the ability, time, and money to make a video game, it is like very Shadow of the Colossus inspired. The idea of
Gotta learn coding.
yeah, fuck that. I'm just gonna the idea of like climbing up these giant entities and like they're trying to fight you while you're climbing them. And like the bird one where you're on its back and it's flying as you're trying to kill it. Like it's just so
That was
good.
so good.
It's so good.
I do love that game.
But yeah.
All right, that's a good entry there. So, we on 4? Yeah. So my number 4, I had to check and make sure. My number 4, I kind of had to bring this one in because I basically discuss all my topics with Adrian beforehand, and she kind of gives her opinions on it. And she pointed one out, and I'm like, God damn, you right. My number 4 is What We Do in the Shadows. And
I've heard of this one. I have to look it up because I feel like it'll. Yeah, I've heard of this. I've never watched it.
it is okay. It's a vampire show, but it's pure comedy. It is the funniest shit because it's like vampires trying to act like human, but also they have like superiority complexes. And they're like manservants trying to like keep them from dying while also trying to become a vampire, but they don't ever do that because they're always like disgusted by him. And he's just like this little dude who's just kind of like taking them shopping and keeping them from killing everyone.
I think Frasier recommended this one to me. Like what you're saying reminded me. That's where I heard of it from, and she really, really likes this one too.
It's really good. The next season's going to be the last season. They announced that it's over after this. They're ending it, and I'm kind of sad about it. But also, you can't really keep the show going forever. I understand, especially because the vampires are about to start aging because the actors are aging. There's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
But it's just funny when it's like, let's go party, and then there's like drinking drunk people to get drunk. It's like, oh, that guy took mushrooms and his eyes are fucking huge. He's like, no, I'm tripping. And he turns into like a weird bat with a human head and flies away. It's just great. It's hilarious. I love What We Do in the Shadows. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. So
No, I'll add it to my list of things that I'm like, wow, I should really watch that, and then not ever watch it because I'm fucking so bad at watching series.
that's fair. They also did a movie. The movie was okay, but the show is really where it. Like they have cameos from everyone. They got like fucking Tilda Swinton, however you say that last name. They have Taika Waititi, fucking Wesley Snipes is in there, the vampire hunter from Blade. It's just hilarious. The goddamn what was it? Emotional vampire? Not emotional vampire. What is he? I forgot. He like basically bores you into a coma and then just feeds off of that, and he's just an office worker.
Nice.
I'm like, yeah, that's pretty accurate, actually. All right, Pharaoh.
Okay, number 4. This one is another anime, actually. As the last anime in my list. I only got 2. But one of my favorite, it's actually like, I would say 3rd favorite anime, is Nichijou. I fucking love, the anime is so good. They dubbed it in, it was late. I think it was 2018 or 19. But I always watched it subs. 2019. It was dubbed Release dub July 23rd, 2019. But it is. Have you ever seen the videos of the clips of like the principal, like slamming the deer on the ground?
Yes, I saw that meme the other day.
That's that
actually.
anime. Or like she goes to pet the dog and he bites her hand and then she like shoots a laser out of her mouth.
Okay, I haven't seen
Uh,
that because the other one I saw like the principal tackling a deer and then like trying to backflip off a rock for like 5 minutes.
Yes. Yeah. There's so many. It's just so good. It's like it's supposed to be a fake slice of life sort of. It literally means my ordinary life. And it's it reminds me of, I can't remember what other anime it's like that, but it's like two girls and they have stupid little 3 mouths and they're voiced by grown men. And it's very akin to that. I can't remember what it's called though. But basically it's like genuinely funny, I find. And it was only 2 seasons.
Hmm.
Which I think it could have gone for at least 1 or 2 more. Because the thing about this series is that there is like some story, but it's very like each episode is mostly independent from the others. So there will be like running gags and stuff that stay throughout the whole thing, or like characters that didn't know each other will meet each other later in the series. But overall, like the things that they do and the antics they get into is very why is it when I look up Nichijou dub release, recommended is Nichijou dub release domestic violence?
God damn, what the fuck?
What the fuck? What? Oh, right, because there's one time where she's standing in the rain and she comes up to them and she just says domestic violence. And everyone
What the
What a
fuck?
good show. There's one character that is in love with another guy, but she shows her love by like blowing him up with bazookas. It's a good show. I really love this show. I wish it got at least 1 or 2 more seasons. It easily could, because it's so like each episode is so pretty much standalone that they could continue it very easily. Apparently, it was way more popular with Western audiences than Japanese audiences.
Okay. I think I've seen the domestic violence one actually. That particular clip.
I really love I love that anime. That's one of the ones that, like, even though I don't really watch anime anymore, I would rewatch this one because I enjoy it a lot. I think I've watched it like 4 times because it's so short that you can basically binge the whole thing at once. So, yeah. Nichijou.
Okay. That's a good one. Well, my next one, I'm pretty sure we're on 3 at the moment. My next one's going to be a game, and it's going to be one of those ones that's probably not going to be talked about a lot. Total War. I love the Total War series. It's just a grand strategy game. It's like, you command your big army and you go fight another big army and kind of take settlements. They did one that was Warhammer themed.
I found the domestic violence clip. She just runs out into the rain.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And then says that and comes back. Good show. Okay, continue.
So anyway, yeah, Total War, it's a fun game. I enjoy the Warhammer one. It's literally just big armies fighting big armies. I can just zone out and play that shit for like 3 days and then wake up and be like, where am I? Not else a whole lot to say about it. It's just one of my favorite games. I need them to make more. It's also cool because they have 3 of the Warhammer ones, and if you buy the first one, the second one, and the third one, it combines all 3 maps and all the factions and all the maps into one giant campaign. So you can kind of play
That's
all of them
nice.
on one client instead of Like if you don't have the first one, but you have the second and the third, then you have the map from the second one and the map from the third one into one with their factions. So you can kind of do that. But I do
That's nice.
enjoy that they did that. It's a cool feature they have. But
Yeah, that's another. I don't know that game either.
it's so good, but it's a time sink. So
I'm bad for. I say that I hate playing games that take a really long time, but then I play Persona, so I guess I can't really talk. It just feels like eventually, once you get to like 30 hours, I'm just like, please release me from this. I want it to end.
yeah, I was gonna say that's a game that one campaign will last like a week or two.
That's rough. I'm good.
I love it. Collectively, I have about 2,500 hours in it.
That's pretty good.
It's just so fun.
I don't think I have any games that have that much in it.
Eh. Every now and then you just find something and you're like, you kind of know life it. This is one where I will always. I can't say always. They've released a few that I'm like, I don't really care about this one, so I just ignore it. But they're main titles because they do like the weird side ones where it's like, yeah,
Yeah, like
this one,
spin-offs.
yeah, like hey, this one is set in Greece, just Greece because that's kind of a small area. Yep, and you can play as 3 different people. Like, okay, but in this one, I can play as like 24 different factions, and each of them have 5 different people in like 5 different unique areas. Yeah, 3 people. Like, oh, okay. I just walk away. But we're on 3. Bear, what is your number 3?
My number 3 is Left 4 Dead. I want another Left 4 Dead game. Or like at least I mean when did they make the most recent like map?
Oh, I don't know.
Cuz they really The Last Stand. Yeah. So it was a it's literally just like fight till you die basically, almost like Call of Duty Zombie style where eventually you will just die. Um But when was that released? In 2020. So they like it's not totally out of the question that they could make more content for this game. That 2020 wasn't that long ago. Left 4 Dead is one of those games that I have played since I was like 11 and it's like one of my favorite games ever. I just like will go back and replay it all the time. It's just so much fun. I love the maps, I love the gameplay. It's so simple and straightforward. Literally, it's just shoot zombies, get to the safe house, that's it. But it's just so much fun. And the only thing that I wish is because I've played it so many times, I just wish that it had more maps. Because I basically have every single map memorized because I've played it so many times. And I remember when Back for Blood came out and people kind of called it like the spiritual successor, but I disagree with that. It was just too different. Like it had the whole card system and stuff. But I would be overjoyed if they ever made like a Left 4 Dead 3 and it was same like gameplay, but it was, 4 new characters, new I think they have the same special zombies in 1 and 2. It's just this different 4 main characters and then new maps
I think
basically.
Chargers were new.
I think they probably could add like maybe 1 or 2 new specials or something like that. But they don't have to reinvent the wheel. I mean, Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 are so similar to one another. Like I bought the pack of Left 4 Dead 2 that has Left 4 Dead 1 in it. And there's even the map where the characters like cross over with one another.
Yeah.
Because the games weren't made super like I don't remember how much time was in between Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, but they weren't made very far apart from one another.
No, it was only a few years.
Let's see. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, it's just one of those games that I really enjoy playing, and I would be happy even if they. I mean, the nice thing about Left 4 Dead 2 on PC is that you can mod it, which I have never played custom maps. I've only ever just like added cosmetic mods, but apparently there are some good custom maps for it. But I think new base game campaign I think it would just be fun. And I think it'd be very popular. I mean, people really love this game. It's one of those like cult classics, I think. It's not that old, but it's one of those ones that a lot of people will just go back to for funsies because it's such a good game.
Yeah. All right. I do agree with that. I played that a lot with my brother. The second one specifically.
Yeah.
But we're never going to get another one.
I know. This isn't games that I expect there to be a sequel to. This is games I wish there was.
You're right. Trust me, I know. You're right. Because my number 2 on this list is Metal Gear Solid. And oh boy. I know we're getting a remake of 3, and I'm going to play that. But I love Metal Gear Solid. That was my favorite game when it came out, the original one. It was so just interesting. The story was nonsensical, but in the best possible way. Characters were over the fucking top. Got a fucking cyborg ninja cutting off the hand of a cowboy randomly. I like over the top things. If you can make something truly insane, it's great. Yeah, we're never gonna get another one. Kojima left and made his own company. So that's the end of that. Sad by that.
I never played Metal Gear Solid, but I have. What's the really kooky one?
Rising Revengeance.
Yeah, I have that one, and I do plan on playing it on stream, but I've never actually played Metal Gear Solid before. I've seen gameplay of it, though, and I do think it looks like a very good game.
It is a very good game. It's also the game that created the stealth actions genre. That didn't exist before Metal Gear Solid, and the reason they did that is because they couldn't have the number of enemies they wanted on screen for the original Metal Gear back in the 80s. And the way they countered that was if an enemy sees you, then it would just kind of spawn enemies every time you killed one. And that's how they made their action sequences. So you had to stealth around them instead.
That's smart.
Yeah, so he literally created the stealth action genre with it. But we're not getting another one. He's done with that. It's over. I want more, but we're never going to get more. The story's technically finished in the worst possible way, but okay. Blech. Anyway. Farah, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is Portal, which is another one that we'll never get another game
I'll
of.
say no more. I agree with you fully. We need more Portal. It's so fun. We played that one.
Yes, we did. We played Portal 2 together. Portal is so fun, and it's another one of those classics that's fun to go back to, because fuck if I remember any of the puzzles. Like, I don't remember. So I could replay it and it'd be like brand new. I mean, I remember the story, but I don't remember any of the puzzles.
Yeah, that's fair. I was kind of the same way. I remember the ones at the very start, and after that I was like, oh, I don't remember this place at all. Uh-oh.
I'm not smart enough to
I remember the liquids. How do I use them here? Oh, shit.
Yeah, Portal is so fun. Like solo and co-op. I think if they made another Portal, they won't. But if they ever did, they should definitely put like multiplayer into it, like they did with Portal 2. Because that is super fun to just get infuriated at your friends because you're just frustrated by a stupid fucking puzzle where you're supposed to run into each other, but you can't time it correctly.
Yeah.
So you keep just shooting off.
That was a really fun one. They do have the community maps, but it's not the same.
It's not the same, no. I know that there's lots of games like where maps are made by community members. But I want like base game. I want another installment. There's the humor in the story too is so good. I just resonate with it so much.
It's really smartly written.
It is. It's so good. And it's one of those games that are so vague that they could make another installment because like the story is so disjointed that they could fit it anywhere in the timeline. They won't ever make another game, but I think it would be good. I wish. A girl can dream.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. So, we're moving on to number 1. And wow, my mind actually blanked what my number 1 was.
You didn't write it down?
Hang on, where's my phone? Like, I was going off of memory and I stopped. I was like, what is my number 1? Hold up. Okay. Yeah, I wrote it down on my phone. My number 1, and this one hurts deep inside every time. It's the Legacy of Kain series.
I've heard of that one too.
There is not a series, like, I would sell so many people for this game. Like, no question. I would toss my own brother into a pit of the abyss for this game to come back. I'll toss all my sisters in there too. Fuck them. Anyway. It is so good. The first one, like, it's actually 2 different games in the series that tie together. Because it starts with a game called Blood Omen, where you're just like this rich dude who was murdered and a necromancer brings you back as a vampire. And it's the first game where the canonical ending was the bad ending. Because there's like, of course you'd be selfish. Why wouldn't you want to be like an all-powerful vampire king that rules the world? Who would pick sacrifice yourself, fucking idiots? And so the next game in the series sucked ass. We don't talk about that one. Blood Omen 2 sucks. Technically not the next game in the series, but next game of that one sucks ass. We don't talk about it. Soul Reaver was so goddamn good. Because you're playing like that first vampire's quote-unquote son. Like he made you kind of thing. And then he betrays you, and then instead of being a vampire, you're like a soul reaver, and you eat the souls of the vampires who betrayed you. And that's so goddamn good. It's a puzzle action game. Soul Reaver 2 was also a puzzle action game. It's really good, but it plays with time a lot, and it plays with time in a way that I appreciate it. I hate time travel. I think time travel is stupid and lazy. However, it's done well in this one because time is actually like the big enemy. Because it's like, yeah, no matter what you do, it has one of the most like memorable quotes of time is like a river, cast a stone in, and time flows around it unbothered. So it's like, no matter what happens is gonna happen. You can't fuck with it. And so the whole series is you trying to fuck with it, basically. And then the villain you've been fighting the whole time, thinking, oh my god, you're just like this king asshole vampire, and you're trying to get rid of your OG character, has actually been working to try to help you. Because he's like, yo, things are fucked up, and there's no way to fix it. And you gotta fight this giant parasite alien god who's been fucking with you the whole time. It's glorious. And it ends on a cliffhanger. It ends with everything sort of being put right, and it sets you up with this big final confrontation on the last game. And that last game came out in 2000 goddamn 7, I think? 8? Hang on. And I've never gotten over it. Hang on. Oh my god, no. Worse than I thought. Came out in 2003? I'm old. God damn. Anyway, it's so fucking good. The characters are so likable. It has like really big name characters in there, like voice actors. And then random ones you don't think of because one of the main characters is voiced by fucking Chucky's dad from Rugrats, giving the most eloquent soliloquies as he's murdering people. 2003. God damn.
Sorry, bro. I know you're old.
I didn't realize it was that far. But it's so good. You kind of go back and forth in time a bit, but it's like no matter what you do in the past, the future is always the same. You just have different enemies because it's like I like that concept of time travel. I hate when it's like you can't change time. You cannot do that because you're gonna fuck everything else up. And this one tells you it's like, yo, you're just making things worse. Stop what you're doing.
They should remake it.
I would just like a continuation. It's also cool because Soul Reaver had this weird dual realms thing where if you were alive, everything was solid, but you could move over into like the ghost realm, the spectral realm, and like things would warp and twist and unlock new areas for you to go to for different puzzles. So you'd have to, but you couldn't just come back to the living realm. You had to like eat souls and go find a portal back in. So you'd have to in like metal bars that's like I could fit through there. No, you can't. Go spirit realm, you can just walk through them because metal bars don't have substance. You're a ghost. You just go through the bars. And that's so cool to me. Because it made so much sense. Like, a ghost doesn't have to worry about walking through a fucking door. But you can't move things in the ghost realm. Like, once you're in there, if something's set in the physical
that makes
realm,
sense.
it's there. But you can walk through things to see what you need to do and then come back and do it. I miss this series so goddamn much. It's made by Crystal Dynamics, who I don't even think is still around anymore.
Too old for me. Never played it.
Okay, they also did the Tomb Raider series.
Oh, Tomb Raider! Yay! I love Tomb Raider! Yay!
So yeah, they did Tomb Raider and Gex. And I love Gex too. That was such a good one. Anyway. It's so goddamn good. It's so interesting. It's one of the only games I found that lets you really be powerful in that way. Because you know in the game when you're playing it and you're like, oh yeah, you're like this leader of Hell's Army, level 1. You're like, fucking am I?
Am I?
This one you start out and like your dude has full telekinetic powers and you fling people onto spikes and shit. Because the main core of the game was the puzzles. The enemies were just there for you to fuck around with. They weren't really the challenge. They were just there for so you could like have a resource to solve the puzzles. And so you felt so powerful going through it. Your real enemy was the environment. And sometimes the camera, but that's old games in general. Anyway.
Oh my god, yeah. The original fucking Resident Evil fixed camera.
Yeah, the true enemy of every old game. This one wasn't fixed. No, actually, I think this one was fixed, where you'd walk into a courtyard and the camera angle would be like up above to the side, and you'd hear people yelling, and you're just like, spam the telekinesis button as you're launching out little orbs, and you hear people screaming somewhere, and then you walk over. There's a big bloody mess, and you're just like, neat. And you keep going. That's my number 1, Legacy of Kain.
Pepper has joined me for my number 1. She's now on my lap.
Pepper is your number 1.
Pepper is my number 1. I wish there was another Pepper in my life because Ginger is the devil. She's a devil child. Why can't she be more like you, my little angel? Yes, you, my little angel. Mwah. My number 1 is BioShock. I want more BioShock. Not 3. It was good, but I want more 1 and 2 version BioShock. I don't know. I love BioShock. It's one of those games that I haven't actually played it, but I've watched playthroughs of it like I think 4 different times. And I have it, and I do want to play it on my own. I love the concept. I love anything that's like almost like futuristic, old-timey, like BioShock and Fallout. I love that vibe. And being underwater in like a little city is such a cool concept. And the enemies are really good, the bosses are really good. Big Sister is like one of my favorite boss concepts in a game, period. I love that concept. I just think the story is so good. 3 was such a big change, but I still really enjoyed it. But I want to return back to the like underwater city because I really liked that sort of environment a lot. It doesn't need another game in the installment. Like the 3 is fine. Like really, it probably shouldn't because it'll probably ruin it. But I just like it so much that I want another one. You know?
Yeah. I played all of them. I loved them all.
They're really good games.
I was sitting there trying to think because was the third one Infinite? BioShock Infinite? Because
Hold on, I'm just looking it up. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the one where you're in the sky instead of underwater.
I mean, I liked them all. There's a part in BioShock 1 everyone forgets about, and it's an escort mission. It's near the end. That is the worst designed
Yes,
mission.
I do know what you're talking about.
That is the absolute worst designed escort mission that has ever been created, and no one will ever convince me otherwise. Because I played that game on normal difficulty. I streamed it for my friend before I was like streaming on Twitch. Like I streamed it on Twitch, but you know, it was before I was doing anything. Just because it was back when it was Justin TV, actually, I think. But he wanted to watch it, and I got to that point, and I had to redo that so many times. And we were sitting in it was Ventrilo at the time, not Discord. I'm that old. And I remember he's just like, man, you suck at this. And I'm just like, no filters, like, I am under pressure. Bum, 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 bum. So I'm like breaking down because it's 4 in the goddamn morning. And I've been doing that same mission for an hour and a half. Because you got to protect a little sister who can take exactly 2 hits. And there's 15 enemies around you at all times. And they all target that little sister.
Yeah.
It's the fucking worst.
Wait a minute. BioShock 4 is apparently been in development since 2016. I didn't know this.
There's also a BioShock TV show coming to Netflix.
I don't fucking care about those shitty ass TV shows. Hey, raise your hand if you're gonna go watch the what's the movie that's coming out? Actually, it came out on Friday. Borderlands.
Oh god, no, 0%.
Oh, what? Nobody raised their hand? Oh my god, no way. Oh, did you hear they canceled Halo because it sucks? Yeah, big shock.
Yeah.
Well.
No, but it's one of those things, if a show's coming, that means another game is coming.
Probably, yeah. Apparently, 2K started developing it in 2016, and then they shelved it and handed it over to Cloud Chamber in 2018, and they said that it will be in development for several years, apparently. The last time it was teased was July 4th, 2024, but it's like a stretch. He said, the BioShock team at 2K Cloud Chamber is ramping up. We have many positions open across a variety of disciplines, including art, animation, engineering, design, narrative, and production. A post on his LinkedIn in July of this year.
Well, something's still coming.
Yeah, I think they might be dragging their feet, but I don't know why. I mean, they're really popular games, so I think a new game, even if they flop on it, they'll make a lot of money off of it.
Yeah, you never really know what the internals of game development is, though. That's the main thing there, because it's different than any other industry.
I just hope that the setting is
Underwater.
well, it doesn't have to be underwater, but the same vibe as the first two, because 3 has a different vibe to it. It not just like the setting is different, but the energy, I feel like, the way you interact. Well, I mean, first of all, in the first 2 games, you're not really interacting with a lot of NPCs.
No.
In the third game, there's tons of NPCs.
Oh yeah, because
I
that's
don't.
about when open world games were becoming a thing, so they needed more.
Yeah, which I don't want to interact with a ton of NPCs, to be honest.
That's fair.
Apparently, also, the original creator of BioShock, Ken Levine, is making a new game called Judas to be released in March 2025. Which I also didn't know about. And it looks interesting. It says, coming soon, Ghost Story Games. Disintegrating starship, desperate escape plan. You are the mysterious and troubled Judas. Your only hope for survival is to make or break alliances with your worst enemies. Will you work together to fix what you broke, or will you leave it to burn?
Huh. That does sound interesting, actually.
This does sound interesting. I would play this.
Yeah. Well, that's a good number 1. BioShock. BioShock's a good series.
I do think that if they were making another BioShock, chances are it'd probably be set in space. I think that would probably
Just keep
be,
going up.
I think that's probably like the next
That's just
step.
Prey.
Yeah.
It
Prey
really
too.
is. Like that's the Prey remake, and even the Prey remake wasn't supposed to be Prey.
I like Prey.
Yeah, but the developers were like, we didn't want this to be called Prey. They told us it had to be called Prey, and I was always just like, oh, because they were gonna lose
money.
their IP, and they
Money.
needed that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, this has been a rather thoughtful episode. We definitely went over what I thought we were going to, because I was like, I wonder how much we could talk about stuff we want to continue. Turns out a lot. So, I think we have a clear and obvious winner here. As I look over at this empty seat. There might be a can in there. Should I do a coin flip?
What if we make Arva the winner, but we don't tell him?
Oh my god.
And then, so next recording.
Farrah, you're evil, so today's winner is Arva! Congratulations!
Congratulations!
Woo! Oh, he's
and
gonna
then we'll
be so
start the
pissed.
episode, and we won't say anything, and then we'll be like, Arva, you're supposed to do the intro, and he's like, what? And we'll be like, well, you're the host. You won last episode.
Yes. Okay, Farrah, that's evil. I love it. We're doing this. Oh my god. All right. Evil plan ahoy. He will do his victory speech at the start of next episode, I'm sure.
I guess so, yeah.
Farrah, do you have a loser speech?
Oh, shucks. Arva's list was just so good, I just shouldn't compete with it, you know?
It's so good.
It's so eloquently spoken and well thought out. Definitely put a lot of more time and effort into his 6 games and series than I did. So I think, you know what, well-deserved gold medal on his part, and I submit. And I'm excited to see what he comes up for in the next episode. I hope it's a good one.
We're assholes. Thank y'all so much for listening. Be sure to follow each of us on our respective platforms. I am Westy HCC across the board. Farrah is Farrah the Bat across the board. And Arva is Arva on Twitch and Arva_69 on Twitter.
If you go, he may or may not be there, just like he is with the podcast.
You're roasting this man alive. He's not here to defend himself.
Well, maybe you should have came.
You know what? That's fair. Anyway, thank y'all so much for listening, and we will see you again in 2 weeks. I always want to say next week. We'll see you again next episode. Bye.
This time we won't know what we're doing because neither will Arva.
It's gonna be such chaos next episode. You don't want to miss that one. That one's gonna be the glorious one.
I'm excited.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.